More seated Pilates. Sorry, I didn't put any on at the beginning of the week. As it was bank holiday, I just completely forgot. So we're going to work on our hips, hip joints, knee joints, ankle joints, feet joints, all lower half of the body today. And if you can grab a cushion, that'd be handy. Also, a ball, just for the little bit we're going to do on our feet. A ball or a rolling pin to massage our feet. Okay, so when you've got yourself a ball, any kind of ball, golf ball, tennis ball, cricket ball, dog ball, you can start with your feet. And you're just going to massage your feet. There's nothing, it's not sort of a special technique. You're just going to push on the ball or the pin, put some pressure into it so that you can massage your feet. And such an easy thing to do, but really such a useful thing to do, to get all the little joints in your feet moving, to help stimulate the feet, to wake them up a bit. A lot of nerve endings in our feet, as there is with our hands. So all over the foot, underneath the ball of the foot, underneath the arch where there's a thick bit of fascia there, under the arch of the foot. You can press into that, release that. And then we'll do the same on the other foot. Anyone who's ever had plantar fasciitis, very painful, usually pain in the heel around that area. This is really useful for you to keep on top of that clump of fascia, keep it from getting stuck and inflamed. Also, calf stretches are very important, as well as having a little bit of support in your shoes so that you're not completely flat. That also helps. Anyway, massaging the whole of that foot, then we're going to get down onto our chairs as it's a seated workout. I'm just going to lower the camera a smidge so you can see my feet for this first bit. We're going to do our foot domes. So you're going to be spreading your toes out first of all, if you can. They might not move very much if you've not done this before, but you're trying to spread them out and put them down, and then you're lifting making domes with your feet. You're lifting under the balls of your feet, and then holding it and spreading them out, putting them down, lifting the balls of the feet. So what should happen is we should be able to keep the tips of the toes on the floor. And the more you practice this, the more you can start to refine it so that you're not scrunching your toes. So this, if I show you from the side, it isn't a scrunching of the toes. It is a lifting of these metatarsal bones. So you're lifting the ball of your foot, holding it for a few seconds. That might give you a slight cramping sensation. So that means you're doing it right, but it could mean that the muscles are a little bit weak. Holding it, letting it go. If you can't get any movement in your foot there, if you're struggling with it, you can just put a sock down or a bit of material or towel, this band handy, and you can try picking it up, scrunching up the material under your foot and lifting it. It's another way of doing it. If you're struggling to get that lift of the ball of your foot. But we'll do a few more of those. Try spreading the toes in between, putting them down, then lifting the arch. I have done a few videos that are really focused on the feet, where we've got an elastic band around our big toe joints. So try and find those if you can. There's one called Awakening the Feet as well, which is a really nice to do before you go for a walk. Okay, so just a couple more. Spreading, down, lift and hold those little domes. Maybe you can even press the tips of your toes into the floor slightly when you're holding it there. And let them go. should feel like you've woken your feet up a little bit just from that. And then we're going to start lifting the heels up and down. So now we're going to wake up the calf muscles. Heels up and down, up and down. Try and sit nice and tall now. As you can, springing up, controlling down. And then we're going to lift the balls of the feet up. Up and down. A bit harder to lift the balls of the feet, but we're now waking up the other side of the lower legs. Up and down. And a little bit of brain work. The heel of one foot and the ball of the other. So alternating heel of one, ball of the other. Looks like this. While we're doing this, I want you to also think about your posture. I've said lots of times what tends to happen if we're on a sofa or something, especially, or if we're sat for a long period, chest collapses a bit, and then to compensate, the chin has to go up, which puts quite a lot of pressure on this area. So you want your chest lifted just slightly, not massively, but slight lift of the chest, slight dip of the chin. Okay, let's move up now, a bit higher on the legs. I'm going to start lifting the knee and switching. Now it's quite a challenge to keep your good posture for this one. So keep working on it, lifting your chest, lowering your chin. And that's something that's going to strengthen your core just by sitting correctly. It's going to strengthen the deep muscles in your body. So if you can try, even if sitting upright all day seems too big a task, you try and do it for the first half of the day or up until you have your dinner, and then you can slump. But the more you do it, the stronger you'll get and the more comfortable it's going to be to sit upright. Okay, we're still marching those legs. So this is your hip, the front of the hips that you're going to feel probably working. Now we're going to go into a little work for the quads. So if you can get your cushion, put that between your knees so that you're going to keep a slight squeeze. Sitting up tall, but a slight squeeze on the cushion, and knees are in line with the hips. We're going to then lift one foot up and put it back down. Lift the other foot up, put it back down. So every time one muscle tightens, another one has to lengthen. You should feel, if you're especially if you're flexing your foot, that as you're working your quads, you're also stretching the back of the leg, stretching the hamstrings. You put your hands on your thighs there, you should feel the muscles tightening. Okay, we're going to go a little bit heavier now. So we're going to stay on one leg. Let's just do the left leg up and down. Can you keep lifting up through your chest bone and through the crown of the head? Not through the forehead, crown of the head. Still on that left leg, let's slow it down. 2, 3. If you can, you're going to keep that leg up now and just circle your foot all the way around, big circles, whilst you keep lifting up with your chest. You keep that leg straight. And other direction, lifting up with your chest, keeping that leg straight. And then relax your legs. Same on the right leg. We go up and down first of all. Up and down. I'll show you side on. I'm trying to say up, up. Still a little squeeze on the cushion. You should be working those thigh muscles. Couple more on that side. Then you're going to keep your foot lifted. I'm going to circle it all the way around, big circles. Very tempting to let your lower back slump out. We want it to be nice and tall. Other direction. All the way around. Okay, bring that leg in. Now we're going to move our cushion. And we're going to do a step out with the left leg, bring it back in. A step out with the right leg, bring it back in. See how far you can get your knee. So think that it's not the foot that's leading it, it's the knee that's leading it. The foot is just following the knee. And we're trying not to move the body. We're trying to keep our hips nice and straight, nice and square, and just pushing that knee out and out. Let's keep going with the same leg now. So let's do the right knee, out and in, out and in. Let me push it back. Maybe you try squeezing your sitting bones. That might feel impossible, but it will just help. Wake up the hips. Okay, we're going to stop that right leg and do the left leg. Out and in, out and in. If you try to squeeze your sitting bones, even if you don't feel like they're squeezing, you're trying to squeeze them, will help us to wake up the hips. A couple more on that left side. Out, in, out, in. Now we're going to do both out, and we're going to keep them out there. So as I said before, you don't want your feet going, but leaving your knees. You want your knees to be pushed back and your feet to be underneath them. I'm going to wriggle now onto the edge of the chair. Heels underneath the knees constantly pushing back. And let's just pulse the knees back to start with. Both knees, little pulses back. As you push them back, I want you to imagine you're trying to squeeze your sitting bones. So the sitting bones, if you sit on your hand, you'll feel them 2 bones that you're sitting on, surprisingly. That you're sitting bones, you're pushing your knees back and imagining that you're going to lift, squeeze the sitting bones underneath you. You might feel that here. Now we're going to keep those knees pushed back and we're going to send our weight into our heels. So this can be as big or as small as you feel you can manage. I'm pushing my knees back constantly now. They're all the time trying to go back. And I'm pushing my heels into the floor to do a little lift. Now, you might want to put your hands on your chair actually just to assist with that so you feel a bit more secure. But we want the knees back, the heels pushing. Maybe you can even imagine, not too much for the brain, that you're squeezing your sitting bones as you lift up. And if you're feeling really strong, you can take your arms out in front, providing your chair isn't on a slippy surface. We're not going to do many more. Keep those knees pushed back, pushing through the heels into the floor, and squeezing our sitting bones. A lot to think about. A few more if you can. Slowly down, knees back, push into the floor with the heels. Okay, and then we're going to have a stretch. So let's stretch the right leg out in front. Sit nice and tall. Keep your back really flat and just trying to hinge forward. So you look like this from the side. Hinge forward as opposed to this. So back nice and straight. Feel like you're sticking your bottom out as you go forward. Try to keep that right foot up. And you'll feel the stretch down the back of the right leg. And we'll just hold it there. So there's loads of these little workouts now. Some of the ones I did at the beginning are sort of a mixture of everything. Most of them are either the arms or working on freeing up the spine or working on the hips and feet. Switch the legs over. Left leg straight, back straight. Get your bottom out and hold the stretch there. So these are free for people to use as and when they want them. Really doesn't take much of your time, but just to do a bit of exercise is going to make your body feel a lot better. So if you would like all of the workouts, you can email me. You can find the littlephodspilates.com website. There's a way to contact me through there. Okay, 2 more stretches. Done hamstrings. Let's do, hip flexors. I need to look something else. So you're going to be facing the right side. You're going to hold on to the back of the chair with the right hand. And we're going to put that left foot back. So we're sort of in a lunge, but we're using the chair. So I've got my right buttock on the chair. The left buttock's off the chair. And you're going to pull your tummy muscles in, almost as if you're trying to tuck your tailbone under. And that should give you a stretch down the front of the left, maybe down to the thigh, maybe just around the front of the hip, whichever bit of that line is tightest is going to stretch first. So tailbone under, tummy in. Let's try reaching the left arm up and slightly over towards your chair. Take a little bit longer. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So turning to your left, putting your left hand on the back of the chair, left foot in front of you, right foot back. You just go as far back as you are comfortable with. You're going to bring your tummy in and tuck your tailbone under, so you get that opening up there. And then you're going to reach your right arm upwards, maybe slightly over towards the chair. Just go on how it feels. And staying. Try not to hold your breath when you're stretching. Particularly useful stretch if you've done a lot of sitting. And coming out of it, bringing that leg in. Last stretch now, we're going to put the right ankle on the left thigh, on the left knee. If you can, that might be a struggle, especially if you're in a low chair. You might need to be in quite a high chair for that, if it's tight. But you're going to lift nice and tall. I'm going to try and hinge forward, so sticking your bottom out. Again, if you can. Maybe pushing on that knee a bit. And holding the stretch. The other thing you might want to contact me about is if, when we're allowed to do exercise classes, you would like to continue to receive these little seated workouts. And I'm happy to do that if it's what people want. I'm crossing the left ankle over now, sitting up tall, leaning forward if you can, pressing down on that left knee a bit if you can. It's all to increase the stretch, so if you're already feeling like you're in a strong stretch, you don't need to push on the knee, you don't need to lean forward. Okay, so if you want to carry on with these after lockdown, or you want me to do all of them on one email, littlefootspilates.com. You can contact me through my website. Okay. Good. That's it for today. See you soon.